You know, I said I was going to make another video until I felt like it or something interesting happened, and I feel like making a video. Not necessarily about anything that's happened, but I'm going to talk about what has happened first. Pretty much, as you can probably tell by my mic quality, it's a lot more resemblant of before I moved in the first place. Where, my mouse and keyboard are insanely loud compared to my voice. Luckily, my keyboard isn't as loud as the other one, but my mouse is even more loud. So yeah, I moved back to the not to my house. I'm still at college, but to my original room before we got kicked out. And actually, I think that's the only thing that's happened really. My parents visited, and they helped me move back in, but it was cool having them visit. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is what my high school regrets were, which, in hindsight, I can actually name a few now. But before I say anything, my high school experience, like I talked about it, it was just with the school that I went to and everything, it was worse. Like I feel like most people aren't gonna even have these problems. But yeah. So the first thing was once again, this wasn't completely in my control because it was more about my mental health, but like I probably should have tried a lot harder. But here's what I will say. People on the internet blow it way out of proportion how well you have to do in school to get into college. It is complete bullshit. Like, I did god awful. Well, actually, okay, I didn't do that bad, but like I failed one class, and that was I was on my transcript having a failed class, and I still got into a few colleges. They were state schools, to be fair, but like I did worse than pretty much anyone else I know, and I got into the same schools that they got into. So unless there's a specific school with a specific major that you're shooting for, don't worry about doing as well as possible. But I still think you should try to at least do somewhat well. That's what I should have done. I should have tried harder. Like there were once again a lot of times where my brain just wouldn't allow me to. But during the times that I did feel motivated enough to try, I should have tried as hard as I could. Sorry, someone is like screaming outside. Okay. So that was, the main academic one. Now on to social shit, which is gonna be the bulk of this. So, wait, 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 I've already been here. I was here like a lot of videos ago. Uh-oh. I'm gonna go this way. That's kind of scary. Anyway. As for social shit, I guess I'm gonna talk about girls first of all, because, it's... I complain about that sometimes on my channel. I've explained that the only two, like, girls who I actually had feelings for, like, it was just... They were both, I'd say red flags, but in two very different ways. You could probably see my videos about that. Or actually, if somebody wants, I could, like, actually tell it in detail, but, it's kind of, I don't know. It's not necessary. Anyway, looking back on it, I feel like the girls I was interested in were all the wrong ones. Like, the ones who actually might have been good for me, I never really paid attention to. And the thing is, I remember I was in high school and I heard somebody else say the same thing. Like, all the ones I should have been interested in, I ignored. And, the ones I was actually interested in, they all sucked. And even though I had heard that before, it had never really crossed my mind until after. I don't really know if that's something a person can actually fix at all. But I guess try to keep your options open with that. And another thing is, once again, this probably won't be a problem for most people, but it was for me. Because of COVID during the first year of high school, I didn't really make friends. Like, a lot of the people were able to make friends with each other over the Zoom meetings or over the Discord, but the thing is, even though now I'm, like, pretty much chronically online, at the time I wasn't actually comfortable, like, meeting friends that way, even though it was, people who I was going to be going to school with. I just didn't take advantage. Didn't take advantage of that when I definitely should have. Because if anything, like the way I'm more charming online than in real life. The way I am in real life is kind of weird. But once again, the equivalent of that for years that aren't COVID, it's just try to make friends early. People will honestly, based on my experience, actually approach you and try to talk to you if you're a freshman. I am saying that because literally that never happened during my freshman year because of Zoom. But when I was a sophomore, like freshmen would approach me just being like, oh, hi, like, are you a freshman? I'm like, no, I just kind of look like one. Sorry. But, yeah, like, people in their first year are pretty social, from what I've seen. So, yeah, try to make friends early, if you can, if you have opportunities to. And honestly, this is one other thing that I heard was gonna happen, but I never believed it. I thought that I was gonna get attacked by a bee. Anyway, like, take care of yourself, honestly. The first two and a half, not first 2 years of high school, I did not care about hygiene or anything. Like, obviously, I showered and brushed my teeth sometimes, but not, like, every single day like I should have been doing. It isn't just a social thing, just actually taking care of yourself and your health. Like, just in general, I didn't care about the way that I looked at first. I just did not care until a certain point where it kind of just switched for me. And I'm like, okay, I do care now. And that usually just happens at some point. So even if you don't care, still just, I would recommend trying to fucking shower and brush your teeth because that is an important thing to do. Watch that also be a village I already went to. Anyway, should I make diamond armor? I don't really here. You know what? I'm gonna make diamond armor. There we go. Sure, I'll make diamond boots. I know that I could probably be using these diamonds for something else, but I don't really feel like it. Does this mine it? No, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, take care of yourself. And in terms of just looking your best, I'm just going to say this. This is something that I think, like, as of recently, I've realized is very important, and I think anybody should take this to heart. It doesn't really matter how you look if you have, like, a sense of style, to be honest. Like, obviously it matters, but me, I didn't have a sense of style at all, really, during high school. I would just, like, the only thing that I did have going for me in that way was wearing band t-shirts, which that did help, if people liked the band that I was wearing or knew the band of the shirt that I was wearing, they would say it, and then it would be a pretty cool, like, conversation topic. Or at the very least, you know, it'd feel nice just being like, oh, hey, thanks for saying that you like my shirt. Anyway, I'm just gonna say this now, like, on social media, I you'll see women, like, gushing for guys who look like they're emo, even if the guys' faces look weird, okay? I feel bad saying it, but, like, if you think you look bad, oh, something just fell off my wall. I don't know what that was. Even if you think you look bad, like if you're into a certain kind of style, just go for it. Honestly, like it'll help. It's like the way that I dress now, for example, during college is I still wear band T-shirts, but I also wear like a spiked belt and like a spiked bracelet. I try to dress punk rock, and it helps a lot with social interactions. Even though I complain a lot about, you know, nothing of substance happening, it's still like people will still mention it just to you, just while you're walking, if they recognize it or if they fuck with it. So yeah, try to develop some sense of style. It doesn't matter what it is, because people who like it will notice it. It's how it works. Trying to think of what else. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like, I'm not saying that you should fucking commit crimes or something, but if you're gonna do something like that, just learn, you know. It's best to do that before you're 18, obviously, because, I mean, it obviously depends on what it is, but, like, if you do something bad once you're 18, like, you're fucked. Like, even with small misdemeanors and shit, it's like hard to get jobs and stuff. It's just it's don't do any of that when you're an adult. Like I said, probably don't do it in general, but if you're going to, if you ever want to be a rebel, do it when you're still a teenager. And finish high school. Like, I'm not going to say that you should go to college, but finish high school. Like, even if you're thinking like, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm not gonna go to school, I'm just gonna get a job, or like, you know, it doesn't matter because I'm just gonna get some shitty job, and you're okay with that. Still, I don't think it's really that easy without graduating from high school. Like, I know people who have high school diplomas and they still like struggle to get hired for jobs, but like, you know, it happens eventually. Like one of my friends, for example. Without a high school degree, you're kind of fucked if you can't fall back on that. Once again, I'm not going to say that you have to go to college. That's up to you. Only go to college if you actually want to. Anyway, that's about it. That wasn't really a regret necessarily, but that's just a final piece of advice. Anyway, I'm going to end my video here. Sorry for the insane amounts of yapping. Goodbye.